Hi students, welcome to the Financial Management online lecture series. As per our schedule, we will discuss merger and acquisition for this week. First, let me to introduce myself. I am Mohammad Azam, attached to Department of Accountancy in ATK Batiklo. Today we are discussing a very contemporary topic. The following are the learning objectives of this topic. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to understand the concept merger and acquisition, and you can understand the motivational factors behind on the merger and acquisition, and you should be able to elaborate how the merger and acquisition create values, and you can illustrate the methodology for these value additions and focus on the consideration that are important in the merger and acquisition. Today in the marketplace, merger and acquisition take place as a big way, because rather than operating as one company, not economically viable. Therefore, most of the firms, companies look forward to buy another company, then they are making more strengthened or concrete as one firm. You know that in strategic management, you would have learned the concept synergy benefit. That benefit is attained through this merger and acquisition concept. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Right, in generally merger and acquisition, this term is used for consolidation of companies, but technical point of view, right, merger is different from acquisition. Merger mean a merger is a combination of two companies. Merger is a combination of two companies to form let me to take a pen. Okay, to form a new company. Say for an example, there is a company called A which merged with company B, right? Then there is a new company is called AB. There won't be a company individually A or individually B after the merge. As far as acquisition is concerned, acquisition is a purchase of one company by another company, in which there is no new company is formed. Say for an example, if you take the same example, right, A is taking over B. Sometimes this acquisition is called as takeover, right? And A will operate in a big scale or very large scale. B will disappear. In the current context, for the merger, I can say an example. There were two companies, Glaxo and SmithKline. These two companies merged. They were in the pharmaceutical field, healthcare field. They merged together, and now they are functioning as GlaxoSmithKline. As far as this acquisition is concerned, right, Dialog took over the Suntel company. You can remember, I think, there was a company Suntel which was taken over by the Dialog. It's a good example for the acquisition. The firm that offers to distribute the cash or securities to obtain the stock or asset of a company is called acquirer or bidder. The firm that is that is the firm which is to be bought or referred as target company, referred as target company. The cash or the securities offered is called as consideration. You may have known this word. If we are moving to the motivation or rationale for the merger and acquisition concept, first priority goes for the synergy. You know that, as I explained to you in the previous slide, right? Synergy benefit. To enjoy the synergy benefit, most of the business companies and firms are merging to increase the value when they are working as a combined firm, right? In synergy, you would have learned, right? 1 plus 1 is equal, right, more than 2 3, which means if you say that there was a firm A and there is another firm called B, and now if they are working as C, right, when they work as individually as firm A and as firm B, the value, the profit they enjoyed will be less than when they are working together. That is a concept, that is a meaning behind on the concept of synergy. The second rationale is tax consideration. Know that sometimes some organization meet losses and they would have experiencing losses, and by that they will be having large amount of accumulated tax loss. So the profitable firm which has highest tax bracket can acquire, and when they are working together they can even the company which experienced the loss is a burden for the country. So the company which is the bidder, they can ask the Inland Revenue Commissioner as well to waive the tax. By that they can strengthen the organization. The next point, purchase of assets below their replacement cost. Firm which is the target firm which might have more assets, because of this merger and acquisition, they can buy these assets which is having higher market price. So that is also another benefit. Diversification, you know that diversification means expansion of the business, right? Either they are product or service, right? They can expand this. So merger and acquisition, by which the firms are trying to expand their business, that is another motivational factor. Sometimes it's managers' personal incentive, right? Because when an organization experiencing loss, right, managers, they do not want to lose their jobs. There are personal motivations and incentives, so thereby they will suggest other firms for the mergers or acquisitions, right? By that they can ensure their job guaranteed, and there are benefits. And the breakup value, right, by the merger acquisition, organizations can break its value by their departmental unit wise, right, and they can merge. For example, you can merge only the advertising section, research and development section, manufacturing section, something like that, right? Moving to the types of merger, right? There are four types. One is vertical merger. Vertical merger. Vertical merger mean, right? In the supply chain, right? You merge with the organizations either in the next point or in the backward point, right? If you are merging uh, with an organization or a company in the front line, which is next at the next point, that is forward merger. And if you are merging with the company which is behind on you, which is in the backward, right, it is backward integration. For an example, right, Cargills, if you take Cargills, right, they have own farms now, fruits and vegetables, right? So if they combine with the, so Cargills is normally doing the retail business, right? If they merge or acquire any manufacturers, that is backward integrations, right? Like that, if you merge with anyone who is at the next point, that is forward integration. Horizontal merger mean in the same business, same industry, right? If you merge with another company, that is called horizontal merger, right? Say for an example, if you merge with your competitor, that is horizontal merger. Congeneric merger means, right, allied in nature or action, hence congeneric involves related enterprises but not the producer of same product. For an example, that if you are having a milk producing farm, right, if you are merging with a yogurt company, so it's a congeneric merger. Somewhat it is related, not fully related, right? The merging is somewhat is related but not completely related. Conglomerated merger mean um, merge with unrelated business. Merge with unrelated business. For an example, Softlogic company, earlier they were in the IT field, right? Now they have merged with the Odile, Asha Centers, right? Burger King. So now they are the Softlogic holding. These are the examples of merger and acquisition in Sri Lankan context. John Keel's acquired Asian Hotel, right? Phonics and Jewelnit have merged to form a group of their own by the name of Brandix. Dialog acquired Suntel, right? Ceylon Tapes Limited sales of 100% to Lancome, right? Associated Motorways acquisition of 77% of Futime Engineering. Bogavandala Plantations acquisition by the Metropolitan Groups. Apollo Hospitals, right, acquisition of 78% of Sri Lanka Insurance Corporations. So these are the examples for the merger and acquisition in Sri Lankan context. Moving to the next step, right, this is the important part, right? What are the process for the merger and acquisition? First, we need to identify a firm or a company which is an acquiring firm or the bidder. They have to identify the target firm, right? Identifying the target firm mean based on the sound strategy, they can increase shareholders wealth, focus on value related reasons. Acquisitions are usually initiated by the acquiring firm, means the bidder. Sometime target firm also announce that it is for sale, right? Either way it happens. Either way it happens. Second point is valuation. As far as the valuation is concerned, there are number of methods, right? Mainly there are three methods, right? One is asset approach, right? Income approach and the market approach. So in my presentation I'll be focusing on the market approach. Again, there are two divisions. First, let me say something about the asset approach, right? As far as this asset approach is concerned, normally the firm's value is calculated by uh, deducting total liability from the total assets, right? Income approach, you have uh, dividend growth model. You would have studied in the long term finance chapter, right? So using the dividend, you can calculate. And there is another approach is called cash flow, right? In the cash flow, we adjust the we from the income statement and and the balance sheet. So what we normally do, right? We calculate the net cash flow, right, by making the adjustments, right? This cash flow, how to calculate, you would have studied in the AMA as well, right? Of course, our presentation is focusing on market approach. Again, market approach, you have two method, right? So I will explain in detail in the following slides, right? So all approaches must be considered, but various factors will influence which approach will be relied upon to value the company. Okay, in general, right, this is the general thing, right? When a firm is taking over another firm, right, they may pay they may pay using cash, or they can pay the stock. They pay for the debt, and by that they take over the target firm and the synergy and other benefits. So usually what acquirer gets should be more than what acquirer gives. Then only there will be a value addition. Mode of payment, right? There are number of methods, right? Acquiring firm is paying entirely cash, or they can issue the stocks, means shares, right? And or they can go for other methods. They can issue debentures, right, or preference shares, or they can go for a loan, right? There are other methods as well, right? Hybrid, right? Right. Some part they can pay by cash, and for the rest they can issue the stock as well. That is hybrid mode, right? Mode of acquisitions, right? Generally there are two mode. One is friendly merger. Friendly merger mean the merger is supported by the management of both firms, right? That is friendly mergers. But in some cases, target firms management resist the merger. They don't like to merge with other company. They don't want to lose their identity. So in that case, they may oppose. So in that time, acquirer must go for a hostile. Sometime in that case, acquirer will go for a hostile merger. How? Acquirer will go directly to the target firm stockholders and try to get 51% of their shares. By that, acquirer is getting the control, right? Often mergers start with uh, as hostile merger, right? At the beginning stage, normally people do not like, but at the end, it's a friendly mergers when the price is raised, right? So now I'm going back to the value, how to value this firm, right? Which I explained in the previous slide, right? I said there are three methods. One is asset approach, second one is income approach, third one is market approach. So what I am going to do, I am going to focus the market approach in this presentation, right? So in the market approach, right, do all firm have market value? If your answer is yes, then your work is also here, so easy, right? You can calculate the market capitalization, right? You know the market price of a share, then you multiply it into number of shares issued, then you will get the market capitalization, right? Market capitalization percentage is equal particular company market value upon total market value. So if your answer is easy, your work is also easy, right? But if you don't know the market value, if you don't know the market value, then it's a issue. How can you calculate? If the answer is no, right, which means that if you don't know the market value, you can use price earning method. You can use price earning method. We call PE ratio. PE ratio. PE ratio is calculated using market price of a share upon earning per share. Earning per share. Right? Again, there are two type of PE ratios. One is historic P ratio, the other one is prospective P ratio, right? If you don't know the historic P ratio, using the prospective P ratio also you can do the calculation, right? So historic P ratio is calculated market price upon last year's earning per share. Prospective PE ratio is calculated same market price upon next year earning per share, right? Use of this PER model, price earning ratio model, right? Some use historic PER, the assumption that comparable companies are correctly priced. That is the assumption to use this PE ratio. It fails to use the future cash flows of the of the firm. Okay, now let's move to the calculation part. Let's move to the calculation part, right? This is the example one, right? Step by step I will take to the final stage of past paper question, right? You have two company X and Y which is having same current earnings 1 million rupee, 1 million rupee, number of shares same 10 million, 10 million, right? Again, you have the EPS, earning per share is also same, 0.1 for both firms. PE ratio is different, 20:10. Share price 2 rupees and 1 rupee, right? Now what he is asking, if company X takes over Y in the mode of cash, how many share how much X company should pay? How much, the word is missing, I think, right? How much X company should pay, right? The answer is easy. The answer is easy, right? 10 million shares into 1 rupee, 10 million rupees, right? If the company intends to take over by issuing shares, how many shares to be issued? Say Y company's value is 10 million, 10 million, right? If X company is taking over, then X company's share price is 2 rupee, right? So they have to issue 5 million shares, 5 million shares instead of paying 10 million as cash, right? This is the answer for these two questions. Very basic, right? First question is he is asking how much cash the X company should pay if X is taking over Y. Then the value of the Y company is number of shares is 10 million into 1 rupee. Number of shares 10 million into 1 rupee. The same way, instead of cash, right, instead of paying cash, if the X company is willing to issue its shares instead of cash, then Y company's total value is 10 million, right? The shares which is to be issued is X company, therefore the X company share price is 2 rupee. If you divide it, you get 5 million shares to be issued. 5 million shares to be issued, right? After the merge, if you calculate the earnings, right, the X company is having 1 million current earning, right, and Y company is also having 1 million current earning, so altogether 2 million. Number of shares, X company is having 10 million shares, right, 10 million shares. Y company, X company should issue another 5 million shares if they are going to take over Y. So therefore 10 plus 5, 15 million will be the new share amount of X company. Why? After merge, after the merge, this is acquisition. After the acquisition, there won't be a Y company, only X company will exist, right? Their all share capacity is 10 million. They will issue 5 million new shares, altogether 15 million. As far as EPS is concerned, before the acquisition, right, 0.1 for both firms. But after the acquisition, right, earnings is 2 million, it's 1 plus 1, upon number of share is 10 plus 5, 15. So new EPS is going to be, right, that is EPS. P ratio is concerned, right, before the merge, company X is having P ratio value is 20, company Y is having 10, right? Who is going to take over the Y company? X. Therefore, we can use X company's P ratio at the beginning. Why? Because the X company is going to enjoy the synergy benefit. Therefore, we use X company's P ratio, which will enable the X company to reach the better P ratio in future. Share of a price, normally the P ratio is equal, right, market price of a share, MPS, right, upon EPS, right? Here in this question, the P value is 20, right? You don't know the MPS, market price of a share, so I'll take as A upon EPS. You have calculated 0. Let me do just 0.133, right? So that is equal to 2.67. That is equal to 2.67. This is the simple example, very basic example in merger and acquisition. Okay. Let's move to the second question, second example, right? Example 2, company X has 200 million shares with the current market value of 4 rupees. With the current market value of 4 rupees. Right? Company B has 90 million shares with the current market value of 2 rupees. What he is telling, company A makes an offer of 3 new shares for every 5 currently held in B. So A company is willing to give 3 shares for B company shareholders, right? The 3 shares for every 5 shares in B company. A has worked out that present value of synergy will be 40 million. Present value of synergy will be 40 million. Advise the shareholder of company B whether the offer should be accepted or not. Right, let's do the working. Right, I have summarized. Let me take another color of the pen. Right, I have summarized. Right, at the beginning, companies A is having 200 million shares, B is having 90 million shares, and the price is 4 rupees, 2 rupees respectively. Therefore, the total value of A is 800, B is 180, and in the question he is telling synergy benefit is 40 million. Therefore, new firm value will be 1020. Why? 800, 180 plus 40, 1020. Right? So with this new arrangement, according to the question, is telling A company offers 3 shares for every 5 shares currently held in B company. So altogether 90 million shares existing share is 90 million. You divide by 5, then 18 into 3, 54 million shares to be issued by A company if they are taking over B. Right? So current share after the merge, right? After this arrangement, right? There won't be B, right? So already A is having 200 million shares, right? With this new arrangement, they have to issue 54 million shares to the B stakeholders. Altogether in the new firm, there will be 254 million shares. Right? Now, after the merge, if you are calculating the EPS, earning per share, right? The value of the firm is 1020, we already calculated, divided by 254, that is equal to 4.02. 4.02 earning per share after the new arrangement, right? After the merge is going to be 4.02. I'm sorry, 4.02. So value of B company after merge will be, right, their share capacity is capacity is 54, right? 54, right? Earning per share is 4.02, altogether 217.08, 217.217.08. So value of the company at the beginning was 180. We know this, right? This is the value. This was the value. Sorry, this was the value before the merge. So the additional benefit will be 217 minus 180 is equal 37.08 is going to be the additional benefit for the B company, right? So out of this 40 million synergy benefit, B is going to enjoy 37.08, right? Majority of the benefit is going to the B company. Therefore, if you say as a percentage of this benefit, 37.08 out of 180, why? Earlier it was 180, right? Their share capacity was, their value was 180, right here, 180, right? Additional benefit is 37.08, right? Into 100 is 20.6 percentage, right? In amount 37.08 is the additional benefit, in percentage 20.6 percentage, right? So therefore B company can go ahead with this arrangement because it is benefit, right? Majority of the synergy benefit is going to the B company. But if you look this scenario from the A company's point of view, right? A is marginally benefited. Why? Their market price was 4, right? Now it has been increased as 4.02, right? I'm sorry, right? So they are marginally benefited. Moving to the question number, example 3, right? If you look at the example 3, right, summary of information regarding the entity of A and B as follows, right? Market price of A company, B company is given 75 and 15, number of shares 100,000 and 60,000, right? Now he is asking if A intends to pay 1.2 million cash for B, what is the cost premium? How to calculate this premium, right? A is willing to give 1.2 million cash minus the value of the B firm, that is 15 into 60,000, 900,000, so 300,000 is the premium. 300,000 is the premium. If A company intends to offer their shares, how many shares they need to offer, right? Very easy. 1.2 million is the cash value they are going to pay, right? If they want to give as shares, their share price is 75, right? 16,000 shares, 16,000 shares, right? Okay, so these are the step-by-step examples in the merger and acquisition calculation part, right? I want to touch with the full question, right? Right? I will do the 2019 past paper question of FM, right? It's a full question, right? To which I will meet you in the next video clips. Thank you.